Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and my very last video was about exactly this. This young person is trying to engrave this and then cut them out, and I yet to understand the double lines. That must be a mistake. But if you look on that C, it's a hairline. It's going to cut out if you run a combo job. All you have to do to correct that is make sure you select it all and go right here to right click and have no outline. That way, when you take away the C, there's nothing there. So that will not cut. I don't understand the double lines, so we're going to delete them. And, well, let's do another one that's a little different. This one right here, for instance, is really an oval shape inside of a circle. So either make the ornament oval, and she didn't ask for this, but I'm a little anal in this. Let's don't delete them. Let's move all this stuff out of the way. And because this circle is 4 inches, we're going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. I am going to make it red. That makes it a hairline. Now, if you look, that's a 4-inch circle, but this is not. This is a 4 by 3.4. Unlock your ratio and make it 3.85 by 3.85, and that's going to stretch it out to a circle. Hit P. That would look a lot better, but the problem is you don't have a place for the holder. Let's change our nudge factor to 4.5 inches. Let's move our text out of the way. Very easily to put a holder when you got that much text. Hold down the control button. Hit P. That put it in the center of the page. I'm going to go ahead. Evidently, she draws in half points. I draw in hairline. So now we got 2 hairlines. While holding down the control button, move it up there. And then just take your virtual segment delete key and delete through those lines. And now you have a holder for the word. I'm going to use her size of her hole. I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. I'm going to left click, right click red, make it a hairline. And then let's zoom in here. The reason I put it in the center of the page is now I can start moving and hold down the control button. It's going to be in the center of the page. I can't really get it off. That's probably good, but you need to think about strength of the wood. And I would actually, that is in the center, but I would actually edge it down just a hair, just to have it more strength. Your wordage is still not going to be in the way. So that's how I would do that. It takes a little bit more wood and cutting, but it looks a lot better. Some of these are just not in the center. Not only are they going to cut out, let's take this ellipse and hit P. Now this is all broken up. Let's hit P on that center. I don't know what that is. Let's group this together, Control G. And if you look, it doesn't have to be round, but we're going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. Now, if you remember, we have those 2 ellipses in the center. I'm going to hold down the control button and move them out of the way. I've got both. Got one going one way and one to go the other. Make sure it's a hairline. Put it in red just so you'll know. If you open up this file a year later, you'll know what's a cut line. And if you get into practice of drawing in hairline, that would look a lot better. You could actually make this a little bit bigger by holding down the shift key and expand it out. It'll expand out from the center out. And you kind of watch where your hole is going to be. Looks a lot better. So get rid of those double lines and go through there and change all your text where it will not print. I can't see anything else that's really terrible. This one right here is just another copy of that. But it's not in the center. But it's hard to say because there's 2 lines. So let's delete one of these lines. Let's move this out of the way. Let's hit P and put it in the center of the page, make it red, it is already hairline. That's already hairline, but make it red and hit P, and we'll go ahead and move it up. So the other one we made a holder. This one's just a little bit different. But if we hit P, then at least it's going to be in the center. of the page or center of the object and just smaller. So that's just personal preference. But I think these are both identical and just two different looks. So remember, and you know what? I didn't check to see if this is, and that's all hairline. So just right click and put no lines. Now it looks a little, let's see if it changes it. It changes it ever so slightly. If we look and take away the outline, it changes, but I think it actually changes it for the better. Now, if you have the outline and it's a half a point, you're not gonna do anything. It's just gonna engrave it a little bit thicker. So that one I must have already changed. This one is a hairline on the inside. I did it, and so when you change it on a hairline, it should not change because the hairline's so thin. Changes it just ever so slightly. So just make sure you don't have any hairlines in your drawing. You could, since it's grouped together, it should work, but you could break the curve part and then you get that. But you could, check out these flowers and stuff before you put them in there. And if you never can do anything, and it's harder to say this working with so many items, you could, I don't know what brand of laser you have, but like on my epilogue, I could actually not run a combo job, and I could grab that item, hold down the shift key, grab that item, control G and group it, and then I could select and go back and just cut those items. One other thing we need to check, and while we're here, go to Windows, Dockers, Objects, and we'll take that item right there, and we know what, that's the top of that. Yep. So I don't think I welded that. So when we can weld this together, now it becomes one item. But you need to kind of look, let's break this thing apart. And this is kind of why I like the Smart Fill tool. Right here. I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and fill this in. Instead of welding, I'm going to fill that in. I'm not going to move it. I'm going to nudge it, left click, right click, and move this out of the way. If you look, I can now break this curve apart, and it doesn't do anything to me. And I think we're good to go because it's going to cut out that one first and then cut out this one. And that's what you want. You want it to engrave it and then cut out the big one, or cut out the little one first. I just made a video on this last night. If it cut out the big one first, then it comes back, and if your laser has a little bit of warp in the bed, it should still work, but you won't get near as good a cut. And then just nudge these back. And that's what I was saying by, if you don't want to run a combo job and you don't know what all's in there, somebody else gave you this file and you can't break it apart, you could always run those two twice, differently. Select, both of them by holding down the shift key, and then you've got two of those, and you could right click or do in your laser and actually print or cut those last after you print it. Don't do a combination job. But I feel sure that we've gotten rid of all the cut lines. There's a lot of ellipse. Oh, it's doing the whole page. Let's just delete all these for a second. We had so many ellipses. So that's what you got. You've got the curve, and then the little hole and the big hole. In most lasers, I shouldn't say all, will do it in this order from the bottom up. Anyway, I hope that helped them a little bit. Thank you for watching.